Hello everybody, Lurgs here, welcome to my channel, and today it's how to disconnect a van battery safely. And at the end of the video there's a top tip regarding Vaseline or petroleum jelly. Hi. As vehicle batteries do contain acid, it is advisable to wear a pair of goggles. If you haven't got a pair of goggles, you can wear a pair of sunglasses, and it's also advisable to wear rubber gloves. First thing you must do is turn the ignition off and remove your key. And then you need to locate your actual battery, and most batteries will be in the engine compartment or under one of the seats. And it's a good idea to have a rag ready to wrap up the terminals once you've removed them. And I've just got some old Rocky boxer shorts here. Yo Adrian, I did it! Rocky. And you're going to need a ratchet and a socket just to remove the battery terminals. If you haven't got one of these, you can just use a spanner. You need to locate the positive and the negative terminals on the battery, because we're going to be removing the negative terminal first, and that is really important. On your battery there should be a negative terminal icon and there should be a positive terminal icon. If it's not immediately obvious because it's an older battery, the negative cable should be bolted to the chassis somewhere, and also the negative terminal will normally be slightly smaller than the positive terminal. What you need to do is remove the negative terminal first. Take your socket wrench and be very careful not to touch any of the chassis while you're undoing the battery terminals. Put it on the negative terminal nut and start undoing it anti-clockwise. I've got it slightly loose here, so I'm just going to do the rest of it by hand. Then take your rag, wrap it around the negative terminal, and you're just basically lifting it upwards very gently, but make sure you get a nice clean exit and just pull it off. It's very important to remove the negative terminal completely before you undo the positive terminal, because that will avoid any shorts or any sparks, which will obviously damage your computers or fuses and could also give you a nasty shock. Then wrap it in your rag and just tuck that away somewhere safely. Now we're going to do the same on the positive terminal. Undo this anti-clockwise. Again, be careful not to touch your ratchet on the chassis. Not that it matters now because we've removed the negative terminal. Then just slide off the positive terminal, and again wrap this in a rag because you may still have some residual current running around the electrical circuit. The battery is now disconnected. Just bear in mind you may lose some settings like your clock and other dashboard features. If you want to remove your battery, there will normally be a holding case, and this will normally be held in with a few bolts. And this one is down here, so you can just undo that and remove the entire battery if you want to replace it. If you want to reconnect the battery safely, there's a link above now about how to do that. And now that top tip with petroleum jelly or Vaseline, when you put your battery terminals back on, make sure that you put some Vaseline over the terminals. That just keeps them in really good condition and stops them deteriorating over time. Make sure when you do this that you wear a pair of rubber gloves. I haven't actually got my rubber gloves on for this particular task, but it's a good idea to wear those just for a bit of protection. You can be as liberal as you want with this petroleum jelly, just whack as much as you want on the battery terminals, and just be very careful not to touch the rest of your arm on any of the chassis while you're doing this. Then just wipe away any excess petroleum jelly from your finger, and I've got these Silver Surfer boxer shorts. I've lost the Rocky ones already. And I tell you what, I think that definitely deserves a lovely cup of tea. Oh, and maybe something to eat. I hope that was useful. Up on the top left there's a link on how to connect a van battery safely. That's useful if you've just bought a brand new battery. And on the top right hand side there's a link on how to test your van or car fuses easily without removing them using a multimeter.